Disclaimer. This video's information is being provided for informational, educational, and general interest purposes only. The information in this video is not intended to shock, enrage, or otherwise provoke the viewer. The sole purpose of this video was to raise awareness of true crime-related events. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. I want to start by expressing my gratitude for conducting this interview and having the temerity to discuss Takoda Collins. At this time, I also want to express my gratitude for helping Takoda when he needed someone to love him because his biological parents weren't able to. Takoda's passing was very painful and could have been prevented. Unfortunately, Amanda received a sentence of at least 22 years, Al received a 51-year sentence, and Jennifer received an 8-year sentence. I think they all should have received a life sentence. My company, Crime Champs, is covering the Takoda Collins story, and we are curious to hear everything you know about Takoda Collins.
Well, the late wife, you've heard her name before, Anita Bredesen, and we've known that whole family a long time. My son was friends with Kelly's son, and Robin used to come over all the time, but at any rate, when Robin gave birth to Takoda was about my first back surgery. So from his birth and my busted back, we just started hanging out. And Koda and I were together more than we weren't, probably the first, 3-ish, 3.5-ish, 4 years, somewhere in there of his life. I would pick him up from Kelly's, because Robin would drop him off and he would be screaming bloody murder, and Kelly would call the wife to come get him, so I would, and as soon as he seen me, he was happy, and him and I would take off and would do our thing. So I spent a lot of time with Dane County CPS trying to get my foster stuff or whatnot. I spent months doing that. I was with all the counselors. We were in a room with counselors, and Robin would come and Kelly would come, and he wanted no part of it. I was Guy. I was the one that did everything with him. I've been on a fixed income since 2009, so I had plenty of time when I first got on it to hang out with Takoda, and that's just what we did, and all the time. I mean, the later years I wasn't around because that's after Dane County CPS tore him out of our arms for whatever Robin and one of her boyfriends did. I think there was a handprint on his backside. And even after that, the first foster family, the Nesbitt family, them and I had it worked out. They would just call me, hey, we're working late, or we're doing whatever, can you run into DeForest and grab him out of daycare? So I would go do that. Basically, most of his life up until he was 4-ish, I was in it all the way. Anita and I, that's what we did. We were always going to get him, taking him. Robin couldn't handle him. Kelly had no time for him because she had all the other grandkids at the house. I guess, I don't know. I can't speculate. But I just been hearing all these other things about, him and the blood relatives, and so loved and so cared for and all that, and I've just had enough of that because none of that is factual. They weren't there. They're living high on life, unfortunately off the death of a child that they didn't have a lot to do with. and it rubs me the wrong way. Takoda was a phenomenal kid, and it kills me that, being around, because we did everything together. I had him for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. The caseworker, that's the word, come out to the house. We lived in Dalton, and the Nesbitts are going on vacation for 2 weeks. We want to leave him here. All right, cool. So we left him there, and he was with us all the time. Robin didn't come out much. Kelly never seen him. It just wasn't a thing. It didn't happen. So, I mean, we just did everything together, and unfortunately, I didn't know about all the stuff that was going on later in his life in Ohio. I guess I didn't even know he was in that state. But how CPS could give him away to a guy that had pending charges, it's beyond me. I guess the system is broken. So, I just know that he was around the late wife and I more than he was around anybody else in his family for the very beginning of his life, up until Dane County CPS took him and then started putting him in the foster system. And there was nobody after that. Foster families would call us up to say, hey, you want to watch him for the day, or take him for the weekend, or do this or do that. I did truckloads of paperwork and counseling to do everything in my power to just have him, period, because that was the goal. Robin, she signed off on it. She knew that. This is the best place for you. We're to go with your Poppa. That's what he called me. And because, she couldn't do it, and she knew her mother didn't want to do it, and he was a huge part of my heart. He got in there really, really deep. So, I mean, other than that's just like basically just that. That's just the facts, is that I was the guy, and the wife, we were the people that had him the most. There was all the other stories I keep hearing about grandma here, Kelly, this and that. It's a load of crap. And even after Takoda first died, and we had news reporters calling, I know that Anita was talking to him a few times, and Kelly called and just chewed her up one side and down the other to keep her mouth shut, because she's going to wreck everything. At that time, everything was, I don't have a clue. We don't, who knows? Maybe they were looking at dollar signs right there from the word go. But that I do not know. There again, I cannot speculate. I feel like to move ahead like that on somebody's misfortune or death is just wrong across the board. In my opinion, whatever cash flow was going from Takoda's death should have gone into some big monster fund to make it never happen again, to further improve the system. Not to buy you a new car and get you a house and do this and that, because that doesn't help anybody but you. How about we help out a whole lot of other people that are in misfortunate situations, rather than just one and done. And I guess that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Anita used to take care of, Robin used to come out to our house all the time when she was young, because her and the wife, Anita, would talk and vent things out, because Robin's life wasn't that great. So when she had Takoda, that's the first place she called, and she used to call Anita, Ma, can we come out at, Takoda, blah, 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 and, she's all about children, so absolutely. Well, Robin, we went and got her and got Takoda. She didn't know what to do. It was the first kid she ever had. And, Anita would give her the highlights and, no, do this and do that. And she'd go home and she'd call us a day later. I can't do it. He cried all night. So then we'd go get him and then we'd bring him home. And seeing as how I just had a back surgery, Anita used to sleep on the couch. And I had way more room than I needed then versus that. So then Takoda just slept in my bed with me. And, if he'd get up crying in the night, either she'd come in or I'd just sit up because she had stuff good to go and, feed him, do all that kind of stuff. And we just bonded. But as far as I'm not anybody in the world of blood relation to him, we were just always took care of. That's just kind of what we do. Well, we had this, I don't know, what do you call it? It's a car on wheels with a handle on it, essentially. And we loved that thing because we would go everywhere after I'm feeling better, of course. We did that. He liked to just hang out. I mean, we had all them old school wooden blocks. He loved to play with those, the big monster Legos the wife went and got somewhere. And we had 2 dogs. We had a brindle boxer and a brindle pit, which was Dakota's dog. And they adored him. I mean, Chloe was the best dog on the planet with children. He would climb all over her, pull on her ears, and she'd just look at him like, really? So, and I seem to recall, it's been a minute, but I seem to recall he was very partial to that there mac and cheese with the hot dogs in it when he got older. And I seem to think that anything that was green in the world of baby food, he wanted no part of. Because I remember making 2 trips to the local grocery store, because when the wife says get corn dogs, this guy's thinking corn dogs with a stick in them. Well, they're a little big for the guy, so no, go back and get the little ones that he can just grab onto and do him. Yes, he did that. He thoroughly enjoyed taking off with me in the truck. I took him in the old plow truck a couple of times, and he thought that was the coolest thing in the world. You see snow blowing past the truck. He was just happy. He was just always happy. There wasn't too much that set him off when he was around us. There wasn't too much that he was going to get bent about. He just was always in a good mood. He enjoyed life, and I mean, in a lot of ways, he made me feel better after. I've had 3 back surgeries, but the first 2, he was around, and he made me feel better, quicker. I had something to look forward to, like taking care of him, hanging out with him. I wasn't too concerned about all that hurts, this ailing me. I just hung out with him. I used to do a lot of stuff on small engines and lawnmowers. He'd be in the garage with us in his little wheelie-do-flingy thing. I'd be working on stuff, and he didn't get bored. He was just there. He just always was there. I mean, and when they finally took him away, it crushed us both. So, but yeah, he, nothing green, baby food wasn't really his jam. Maybe that's because if I tried it and I had a dumb look on my face, he's thinking, yeah, dude, you're right, that's just nasty. I mean, in hindsight, I did it to my children. They don't eat nothing green. So, maybe that's a thing. The way that I was raised in the church, I've spent a lifetime in it, is that people are going to maybe sound like I'm crazy. I forgive you. I never can forget about it. I forgive you. But What was going through your cotton picket mind? What were you thinking? What did he do that was so horrible? That's literally pointed right to him. That was so horrible that you had to go and do all the stuff you did to him as a punishment? Did you enjoy it? What was going through your brain? And the two women, I don't know what I would say to them. I mean, are you blind? Are you as scared of him as apparently everybody else was? I've met the man. I met him in Wisconsin. He's not all that scary. So I don't understand that dynamic whatsoever, but I just want to know, I would love to know. I would love to ask him that question. What was going through your mind? What did he do to you to make you go off the rails like that? I mean, that's extreme. A belt is extreme. So I guess he was going way past that. That's literally all I want to know. I just want to know why. Why were you being on one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet? Because he was one of the nicest kids you would have ever met. I seen him one time when he was older. He was at the bounce house thing when there was one in Windsor, Wisconsin here. And Kelly was gracious enough to call us. And we stopped what we were doing and headed that direction right now. And I walked in and I looked at her. She says, well, he's in the back. And I walked back there and said, Coda, what are you doing? And he hadn't seen me, I think he hadn't seen me in almost 2 years. And he looked at me kind of funny. And then he realized that I am who I am. And he come running down and about knocked me over. So the rest of the day, he didn't care about nothing other than hanging out with me. And then he was really upset when we left and he couldn't go with, because he really, really wanted to. I said, well, we're going to see you again. I'll do everything in my power to make it happen, Coda. But unfortunately, that just never materialized. But yeah, that's all I got to say to him is why. I just there's got to be an explanation to why he was as brutal as he was. And maybe he don't even know. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand it. So, yeah, I mean, he could be drawn in court, in my opinion. I forgive the man, but it doesn't mean I'm going to hurt him really bad. And I said that to the wife when, we just heard that he had passed. And I didn't know he was in Ohio. I didn't know that Robin had made welfare checks, because she wasn't really talking to us at the time. She was doing her own drug world in Madison. I says, dear, I would have known that 2 years ago. I'd have made a road trip to Dayton, Ohio. I'm not a cop. I would have kicked in his door. Anybody that knows me knows that's the gospel truth. And other than Jesus, there wasn't nobody gonna stop me. I just didn't know he was there. We didn't talk to Robin for quite a while, because I just don't want that kind of drama, because Robin is all drama in my life and in the wife's life. She had her own demons to deal with, so it's just best to stay away. But yeah, I mean, can't change it, and he's gonna sit for the rest of his natural born days. It's just too bad they didn't put him in a chair and flip a switch. Well, first I'd tell him, I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know you were going through what you were going through. And if the good Lord above so desired to let him stay, he would be with me until the day Jesus took one of us home. We had a good life. Money will make a life. Love makes a life. That's just my opinion. And we loved him a whole bunch. And, it's unfortunate, though, because, I tend to pull away from children nowadays. I have 4 other grandkids. And I love them dearly. I would die for each and every one of them. But I don't have the Takoda bond with my blood grandchildren. Not that extreme. I mean, I do, but it's It's not like it was with Coda. Coda, for some reason, grabbed a hold of this guy 110%, and there was no saying no. I very seldom said no to Coda. It just wasn't a thing. Yeah, all right. We're in the store. All right, cool. You want that? All right. I won't change oil in the truck because you want that toy you're going to play with for 4 minutes and then lose it and play with the box. All right, that's fine. But I tell him, you're going to have the best life that I can give you, Coda, because the first part of it wasn't that great, or the middle part wasn't that great. And I'll be here for you forever. Wanted to do this a long, long time. And actually, a friend of ours hit me up and said, this channel right here. There's some of the stuff that I just can't watch. I just can't do it. And because I already know it, I don't want to keep reliving it and hearing it. But I commend you on what you do, I can tell you that much, because some of the people need to know things, and it needs to get out there, and it's just a horrible situation. But yeah, you'd have loved him. You'd have loved him, man. He's I firmly believe he would have grown up to be a stellar adult human, and he'd have gone far in this world. I know that. He had a very big, loving, caring heart, even when he was little. And sharing, because kids don't do that. That's mine. That's mine. Coda would just stay here, hand it over. Well, most of the time. Sometimes not so much, but, you know. And I will say, because it just dawned on me, he didn't make a very good driver at 3 years old. Because yes, I let him drive the plow truck in the church parking lot. He couldn't see much. He was standing on my legs, and he was steering the truck. And we had a whole lot of S-curve parking lot. The plow was going. But yeah, he just was happier than happy because he's doing something cool, or maybe he's doing what he was doing. I don't know, but I don't know. It just for some reason popped in my head when we were talking. I'll probably have a whole lot of stuff here now shortly, but that's okay. It'll all be good stuff. The family they avoid me like the plague. They don't come nowhere near me. If I'm walking to the grocery store and they're coming the other way, they turn around and go the other way. They want zero to do with me, and I'm okay with that. If you do you, let me do me. I mean, we all live pretty much in the same townish area, so, but no. Although I'm sure I'm not going to make too many people happy, and I'm guessing I'll probably at some point get a phone call from Kelly, but that's okay. I can deal with her. No, but yeah, other than that, no, it's not a thing. I keep to myself. Our friend was giving me the highlights one day, and I told her, you have to stop. Stop, don't tell me. Just don't tell me, because I know it, but just don't keep speaking the words. So, I remember Coda how I remember Coda. He was a phenomenal little guy. We had a blast. We had fun all the time. I was left alone with him most of the time. If Anita was taken off to go do whatever, and are you be okay? Yeah, I got it. I've raised kids. I know how to do it. And we just did whatever. We walked down to the motel where the pop machine was and get a bunch of sodas, and we just do all kinds of stuff. That's just what we did. Don't need money to make memories. That's just kind of how I think.